have shoulder pain? Like chronic, it just does not seem to be going away. Oh my God, can this ever end? Shoulder pain. Have you considered the emotional component that could be holding you back from fully healing? Because that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we dive in though, make sure you click like and subscribe so you can get notifications for all these videos, because I love diving deep into this stuff. I love sharing this stuff. I love these perspectives and points of views. These are just things that we're not taught to think about, but when you do, it's just like, whoa, you have crazy realizations. So I would love to share all of this with you, so click like and subscribe. Okay, so before we dive into the whole emotional component of things, because I know that can make people be like, that's weird. I totally understand that there are physical reasons for physical pain, okay? So I'm not saying everything has an emotional component. Oftentimes, chronic pain, chronic dis-ease, it's associated with some sort of emotional trauma that's stuck in the body that just needs to be released. And once that has been released, the body can receive treatment. So you go in for your physio, your chiro, your massage, whatever it is, and now that you've addressed that emotional component, your body can receive the healing from these modalities. Okay, so whether you have an extended period of feeling better or maybe the pain just goes away, both are totally viable options. Okay, I just really want to make sure that you know that I know that you know that I know that you know that I know that there is such thing as physical pain, and that is just it. Okay, but we're diving deeper than that. So let's look at the shoulders from an energetic standpoint. Across the back. Actually, let's look at it from a physical standpoint. Across the back, okay? You're carrying a heavy load, you're going hiking, you're carrying your backpack, you got it on your back. You are carrying like those old school yokes that had like the water buckets on either side. You're carrying that on your back. You don't carry that stuff in front, right? That doesn't make sense. It's not ergonomic. It doesn't function properly, right? So we carry burdens on our back. So now if we take that and put it in an energetic point of view, whose burdens, whose pain, whose whatever they're going through, whose burdens are you carrying as your own in an attempt to help that person? And I say in an attempt because we're beautiful humans, and like when somebody that you love is going through a hard time, like you want to do anything you can to help them. So it's like, I'll take on that pain, like don't worry, I'll take that on. And then all that ends up happening with that is you're both suffering. So it's cute, it's benevolent, like it is so benevolent, but it just is not functional, and it ends up hurting you. And this is often done so subconsciously, and a lot of times it is done out of habit and out of obligation. So that is more where the pain comes from, is when you're doing it for those reasons. And when I say it's subconscious, I really mean it. Like you're not intentionally going out to hurt yourself, but there's just this like internal drive to like take that person's burdens because you're supposed to or you have to. So that would be the first awareness to bring into your awareness. The first kind of thing to bring into your awareness is, who am I trying to carry burdens for and why? Like, do I need to do this? Like, just ask those questions and see what your awareness brings to you. Now let's break it down even further. So we have our left side of the body. If we go at the very top of the shoulder, like if it's tender in there or painful in there, that would be indicative of blame. So what do you blame yourself for besides probably everything? Like, let's say you walk into a room and the vibe feels off and you're like, oh, this is weird. What did I do? Like, did I look at somebody weird? Was I loud when I came in? Like, what happened? Like, you would automatically assume that somehow you're wrong for being, even though the vibe was already off before you got there. And then if we go just below that, so just below the spot and just above the shoulder blade, this is indicative of, hang on. Oh, there we go. Passive aggression towards self. And like, what do you mean passive aggressive towards myself? That looks a lot like self-sabotage. So have you ever had it where it's like, oh man, things are finally going my way, everything's gonna be okay, but you know what, I just know something's gonna go wrong. Something is, like the other shoe's gonna drop, something's gonna happen. Like there's that internalized belief that something has to go wrong, and then it does, probably every time, because you basically called it forward. And that really stems from feeling unworthy. Are you allowed to be worthy to have whatever it was you were seeking? Like, do you believe that you are allowed to have it? Because chances are, deep down, you don't believe you're allowed to have it, so you self-sabotage so that it doesn't actually happen, and then it doesn't hurt as much when that happens. It's like a weird protection mechanism. It's really another benevolent thing, but just kind of misses the mark. Okay, I forget to breathe sometimes. And then if we look at like left and right sides of the body, not just shoulders, like the entire left, the entire right side of the body, the left is indicative of feminine energy and the right is indicative of masculine energy. So this is completely regardless of how you identify as a human. These are just certain energies that carry certain resonance, okay? We all have them. Left side, so the left shoulder, the blame, and that self-aggression towards, self-sabotage. Look at your relationships with women in your life. Look at the relationship with your mom, your aunt, your sisters, your cousins, your friends, like your wife, like whomever, but the female relationships, people you work with. Look at those relationships and ask yourself those questions. Am I carrying burdens for them? Who am I carrying the burdens for? Why am I doing it? And especially when it comes to like the close family, so like we'll say mom, for example, very often there's some like subconscious beliefs that it's like, I have to do this for my mom. I have to carry this for her. Like, she can't do it without me. Like, I'll take it. Like, I'll carry those burdens for her. Very subconscious. Now, if we go to the right side, masculine energy, we have at the top of the shoulder here, guilt. Like, do you always just feel guilty? Like, do you feel bad about everything all the time? Like, it's always your fault somehow. And it's more of a reaction. So this is just like, something happens and you're like, oh, it's my fault. Like, Kate, like, yeah, it was my fault. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Like, whatever it was, even though you might not have had anything to do with whatever happened, you feel guilty, or you feel guilty that it's like you're not doing enough, you're not helping enough, you should take on more of that burden somehow, like you're not doing enough, so you need to feel bad. And like, have we ever had a guilt trip from a mom? Come on, somebody's had a guilt trip from their mom, right? So guilt, heavy in there. And then just below that, on top of the shoulder blade, is false sense of responsibility. So that kind of makes sense. It falls in line with guilt. So it's like you always feel like you have to do these things. So this might feel like you might be able to recognize the obligation a little bit more with right side pain. But like, what do you feel like you have to do? Like, what responsibilities, what burdens are you taking on because you have to? And because it's the right side, check out the men in your life. Dad, brother, husband, friend, co-worker, same as the left, but look at those relationships and ask those questions like, do I feel guilty in these relationships? Do I feel a false sense of responsibility with this person? Why do I feel responsible to this person? Why do I feel guilty towards this person? And so the whole intention on asking these questions is to bring awareness, because awareness is where you get to choose differently. So instead of always having these same reactions, because these are basically toxic behaviors towards self. So instead of having these as like the habit and the reaction, you can now choose differently. So I'm curious, is any of this resonating? Does this kind of, are you like, whoa, that totally makes sense? Or like, yes, that's me. Or like a family member popped in your mind, like, oh my God, that's totally what happens here. If so, comment below. I would love to hear your story. And maybe if you need some help deciphering things, like I said at the beginning, this is my jam. So comment below. I would love to chat with you about it. So what do you do with this information? Like, okay, now I know, like, I'm carrying this burden for my mom, or I feel guilty about this because of my dad, or I feel like whatever it is, like, what do you do with this information? Well, like I just said, first things first is to bring it into your awareness. So asking those questions, asking, just like saying it out loud, like, hey, why do I hold this burden, or who am I holding burdens for? When you ask those questions, your subconscious loves to find answers for you. It is like this little like eager beaver, like minion machine that is just like, you give it a task and it will find the answer for you. So when you ask those questions, it's going to show you. And because the only voice comes out here and you're in control of it, the body needs to find different ways to communicate. So be aware of memories that pop up. Be like, whoa, I haven't thought about that in a long time. Get curious about that. What's in this memory? Like what in this memory is applicable to the questions that I asked? How does this relate to my shoulder pain? Start asking more of those questions. So memories could pop up. Random thoughts, just like, oh, like, you know, you'll get like an idea, an epiphany. You'll see like a dot will be connected. Maybe you'll see something on like Facebook or Instagram or like a YouTube video. Something will pop up and you're like, whoa, that's exactly what I was just thinking about. So synchronicities can kind of line themselves up, but you need to be aware of them. So just being open to like, when you ask the question, the information coming to you, kind of however, okay? Just being open to it. As you think of these things and as you consider these relationships and these burdens that you're carrying for other people, journaling, let's be real. Like, it's journaling, pondering, contemplation, and meditation. Those are like the top 4 things. Whichever makes the most sense to you, I recommend doing that. And it can change as you kind of go through a healing journey, so there is no right or wrong. I really do enjoy journaling because I feel like I can just verbal diarrhea it all out. And it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. It does not have to flow. It doesn't matter, okay? This is for you, right? So journaling is really, really cathartic because it literally removes it from your system. That would be step kind of 1 and 2-ish. Bring it into your awareness, ask the questions, journal it out, / contemplation, meditation, pondering. All right, so if this is intriguing, if this catches your attention and you're like, whoa, I need to know more, I have just the thing for you. I have created an entire healing series. It is a 7-module series, and it covers from your 2nd trimester of development all the way to 12 years old. So like your whole growth phase, and it breaks it down, each muscles and like the themes in each one. Like, it's crazy. I freaking love what I've made. And just for you, if you click the link below, you get module 1 for free. So make sure you check that out. So before we log out today, I have a couple statements for you. And so these are kind of healing statements to acknowledge your body, acknowledge your pain. So what I'll get you to do is put your feet flat on the floor, hand on your heart, and then close your eyes. And if you want, you can repeat after me. Otherwise, you can just listen. So hand on your heart and take a nice deep breath in. And another deep breath in. And you can repeat after me if you like. I forgive myself for believing that this shoulder pain will never go away. I forgive myself for believing that my body is failing me because of this pain. All the oaths, vows, contracts, commitments, and loyalties I have to carrying every burden for everyone I love to try and help them, I destroy and uncreate it all now. All the lies I've bought and sold, that it is my responsibility to carry these burdens, and if I don't, I need to feel guilty. I destroy and uncreate them now. Without this pattern of holding on to burdens out of habit, I now give myself permission to release everything and anything that does not serve me. Without this pattern of feeling guilty if I say no and create a boundary for myself, I now give myself permission to create these boundaries out of love and integrity. I love and accept myself, choosing to help those I love because I want to, even though in the past I've done it because I have to. Nice deep breath. Fabulous. Thank you so much for joining. Like I say, any comments, questions, concerns, please put them in the box below. I would love to chat with you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.